Hi, guys. Welcome to a Drama in Session with Carina.
And Heidi.
So, this week we are talking about family law and social media. Obviously, everyone's on social media, everyone understands how social media works, but I don't really think that people get the consequences of social media. And not even just social media, the consequences of being an influencer, of having your life out on display for everyone to see.
And it's not as easy as it seems. We're trying it, but it's not working.
It's not. And so, right? It is a lot of work because a lot of the time I'm like, oh man, all these things happen in the office and I forgot to post. I literally say in the live word. Well, when it comes to social media, I think that a lot of people don't realize that, well, one, anything that you post stays on there forever. And anything that you post can become an exhibit, whether it's your custody case or your divorce case. And that's where it gets really complicated for people. I understand that sometimes social media can become a tool for people to use it for mental health reasons and to be able to get their story out there and talk about what has happened in their traumatic experiences, which is amazing. And for other people, it's a financial means to be able to support their family. The issue becomes is where does that line get crossed where now you're using it to tear down somebody or you're using your social media or your platform to get the upper hand with your children or in your divorce case or, just in general with trying to bash somebody that you don't like.
hmm And I also think that it goes hand in hand with like your emotions. If you're someone who's not mature, you're obviously gonna go on there and spill your tea or just rants, right? Is what they say. Like, don't mind me, gonna rant right now. But yeah, if you're not someone but then again, that's what, like, captures your audience with the drama, right? So,
Yeah.
again, defining that line of what is sharing too much,
And what is putting someone down.
and that can be used against you. Yeah.
And then how many times have you ever posted something and then hours later you think about it?
Yeah, like, "Oh, shoot, I'm gonna delete it."
I can see how somebody would have thought that it was about them, or somebody would get that, and I can see how it could be used against me for work or for your divorce or custody or against your husband. And people are nosy. People want to know about your life. I mean, I know that we were just talking about something that was happening on Love Island where nosy people found out who somebody's significant other is.
So she's not on the Love Island boat.
I am not on.
For our Love Islander, so there's the character Huda, right? And she's a mummy, a mamacita. And she has a child and her baby daddy. People on social media found her baby daddy. They're not together. But they are blowing up his TikTok like, oh, how could you let, your child's mother be on the show acting like this and blah blah blah. But he hadn't responded. So he finally clapped back and he was like, I'm gonna stand by her. And everyone wasn't expecting that response because typically people don't have a good co parenting relationship, but they seem to have one. And everyone was kind of like, ooh, okay.
And it's funny that you say that because I think that most people get alarmed or they get concerned or I guess they want to know more when people do have a good co-parenting relationship. We have clients right now, they literally carpool to events together. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? How does that even work? So you guys are cool? How long have you guys been separated? When did that happen? Did that start off right away? It's interesting because we push for a co-parenting relationship, but then when it's really there, everyone's like, whoa, that's so weird. Yeah, like, what do you mean you guys get along? But you guys know that you guys used to date and now you guys are all in the same room with your new significant other and then their kids. And yeah, it's like a whole Brady Bunch episode.
I recently saw a TikTok. I don't even know who they are, but it was a mom who posted like, "Oh, on a double date with my son and his dad and his new girlfriend." So they were just like having dinner, and everyone in the comments was kind of like, "Oh, like goals." You have the both sides like goals, and then you have the other side like, "Ew, that's weird." Like,
And I think that the way that some people are looking at it is because it's a reflection of what's happening in their lives, right? They look at it like I could never have that relationship with my ex, but maybe your ex is not the way that her ex is. Maybe they were very inviting. I know that I've seen a lot of social media influencers talk about their co-parenting relationship, not extensively, but in a way where they're like, "Hey, we're all celebrating our son's birthday together," or we're all
A holiday.
yeah, we're all doing a holiday or we're all here at the graduation. And then it stirs up the pot of like, oh, you and your ex talk or this and that. And I think that a lot of the time some of them don't respond because how do you even respond to that? Like, yes, we're friends, but then what if the baby daddy's like, well, no, we're not really friends. We're just kind of there. Or if they do say something like, well, yeah, it took us a while to get here, but I'm happy that we're here. And somebody might look at that like, well, what happened during that time that you guys weren't here? Was there drama? So I think it's always scary to respond as an influencer or being in the public eye that way because you don't know how to respond. So I'm assuming the guy on Public Eye or what is it called?
Love Island.
Love Island was hesitant to respond at first because what was he going to say?
Right, and then all of a sudden, you are going about your day, right? And then all of a sudden, your baby mama's on a show, it blows up, and then people find you, and you're like, "Wait, what?" Like, that had nothing to do with me, but okay, hi, hey."
But he had to have known that she was gonna go on a show. Maybe he just didn't know how big the show was gonna be or how it would affect him. But anytime that somebody is in the public's eye like that, it has to have an effect on the family. There's just no way.
Well, your family is watching. Well, there's no way. You're gone for
Extended period of time, yeah.
months, right? And obviously, you have to tell them, "Hey, I'm going on a show. I'm gonna be gone for 3 months," or however long it is.
And they have kids?
They have kids, so the child is with him.
Oh.
She's on her.
Oh, and people are getting it as like she's not being a mom. And how can you be with her because she's how can you be a mom if you're just gonna pick up and leave your kids?
And then I guess just the way that she's carrying herself on the show is like, "Aren't you a mom?"
Well, I mean, what is the real definition of a mom, right?
And it's interesting, now we're diving into it, but in the beginning, she was not trying to let the Islanders know that she was a mom because she didn't want that. She made a connection with someone. She wanted to make sure that they established liking each other and all that stuff before she l- disclosed more vulnerable information. And then one day she just told him like, "Hey, by the way, I'm a mom." And he was like, "Oh."
And then they had like dramatic background music.
So then you have like that part too, right? Like, oh, should she have told him from the beginning? Because what if he didn't want to be with someone who's a mom? And then you have the other side of like, well, yeah, you don't want it to define, she don't want people to define her as a mom and then just not talk to her. And
Yeah. Mhm.
I see both sides. I mean, Jeremiah wasn't upset. So everyone's like, okay, well, if he would have been upset, it probably would have been a different story. But you should watch it.
I will definitely
Put her on.
I'm gonna play it. I add it to my list of things that I will watch definitely because I keep hearing about all this juicy drama and I'm definitely not on it. So I get bits and pieces and I'm like, oh my God, this show's very dramatic. Kind of like our show. there's there's a one TikTok dad that's on social media.
The kind of your type.
Yes, and he has like millions of followers and he just literally posts his everyday to day activities with his kids and I think he has 3 or 4 and there was just an article written on him about how difficult it is for him to date and how he tries to not really bring other people around his children, right? So he doesn't want to be defined really as like this dad. He wants to just meet somebody for him, but his whole social media presence is based on him being a dad. And lately, people have been asking him, well, where's mom? Like, you're a single dad of 4, and it's like night routine, day routine. Like, the kids are always there. So now you have these nosy people that have made TikToks about them. And now everyone's finding out about mom, which I think is not in the right place at the time. I don't know if she just has some mental health issues or I don't know if it's something different or deeper, but she's really not in the kids' lives and he's never said anything bad about her from my understanding or what I've seen. And he really just chooses to not discuss her at all, which is awesome because going and how this all ties to this is that one day his kids are going to go on social media and they're going to see that. And I think that that's what people don't understand about oversharing on social media and talking about your case, your custody, your deadbeat baby mama, your deadbeat baby daddy is the fact that your kids are going to watch this one day.
And it's still their parent.
It is, and they still love them despite what happened, despite the issues that you and the other parent may have, despite the fact that maybe they may not be the best parent to the child. That child still cares about the parent. And we see that all the time. We have cases where a dad or a mom is not a very good parent. They've exposed them to some type of domestic violence or been abusive towards them. And the children still want to be with them in a way. They still care about them. They still love them. And it's hard because you can't tell a 10-year-old child or a 4-year-old child don't love your other parent because that's how they feel. It's genuine to them.
Right. And then what we tell our clients is right now, their children, they're gonna love their other parent because that's all they've known. Yes, when they get older, you don't even have to tell them, and you shouldn't tell them anything between you guys, but when they're older, they're gonna catch on.
Oh, 100%.
And they're gonna be the ones who want to continue a relationship with mom or dad. So,
And we see that all the time because we see kids that are very smart and they do play both sides. So we'll get one parent that says, they never want to go back with dad. They're always complaining. It's a struggle. But then dad says, I have the same experience when I have to take them back with mom. And getting the parties to understand that kids, they want to feed the parent what they believe the parent wants to hear because they want to be loved. They want to feel that connection. And so if they feel that mom is like, oh, I don't like when I have to drop you off with dad, they're going to say like, "Oh, I don't really want to go," because in that moment they may feel that way because they don't want to leave mom or they don't want to miss out on something that's happening. But it's the parents that really dive into in the child's emotions and feed them things that's where it becomes a term that the court really despises, and it's parental alienation because you're essentially talking crap about the other parent to the child indirectly or directly that leads the child to have a perception of the other parent before they're able to form that perception or that thought on their own.
and as you're saying that, I'm also thinking there's children that are very observant that you don't even have to say much. The way that you carry yourself, let's say single mom has a drop off with dad. She has other kids and she's struggling and she's a mess. I'm like, oh my gosh, you should like the child is seeing all this chaos just for them to drop that one child off. Let's just say there's different baby daddies. So that child is gonna feel like, oh my gosh, I'm putting my mom through all this fury. See, she's stressed. That's because she has to drop me off. So that might make the child feel some type of way. So
Even when they're young, you think that they're not watching you, but they are, and they catch on to everything.
they say children are sponges.
Oh, absolutely.
You think
But actually, I mean, my son, my youngest, Logan, he's 4, and the other day I'm in the kitchen and I just hear him go, "Dad, why are you mad?" And Anthony's like, "What?" And he's like, "Why is your face like that? Why are you mad?" And I knew that Anthony was frustrated that day because something was going on at work, but he didn't have to say anything to him. And I mean, he's 4 and he was like, "Why are you mad?" So imagine how they feel when they're anticipating a drama at an exchange and they love both parents and they want to go with both parents. Or maybe there even is something there that they don't want to go with the other parent, but now the stress that you're putting on that child is heightening that. It's making it more real for them. It's not encouraging them to try to have a healthy relationship with the other parent, or it's not encouraging them to try to figure out ways to just be a child, even when they are on the other side or with the other parent. And it makes it difficult as a parent to see that, but that's what you have to do.
it also going back to social media reminds me of the Ace family.
Yeah.
And we just saw the whole spiel. So Austin, Catherine separated,
Yeah.
and Catherine came out with a book. She's in a whole new relationship. And I mean, there's videos of her new partner and all the stuff that he's into. I don't even know how to say it, the ashwagandha stuff. And people were like, wait, Austin, like, how do you like allow? So again, because your life is
On the internet, yes.
everyone's gonna have their opinions, and who knows, maybe when she's doing these, I don't know, meditation journeys or whatever, the kids are with Austin. So, I mean, we don't know.
Yes, exactly. We don't know. Like, and we've said it before, when somebody's like, well, she's on OnlyFans. Okay, but when does she do it?
Right.
I mean, maybe she records on Wednesday night, and who has the kids on Wednesday night? Dad. So it's none of your business. Stop logging in to watch her. How do you know this? How do you know this? Stop subscribing. You're literally, and no, we cannot deduct your subscription from your child support payment. Right? That would be so funny. And we've actually never have had anybody ask us that, but I think that it would be so funny if we did.
That is giving them ideas. I think.
No, seriously. Well, it's funny that you talked about Catherine because I know that I just started kind of figuring out what was going on with them, and she wrote this book. And in the book, she talks about her experience with Austin and how he cheated on her throughout their entire relationship with multiple women. And I understand that this is part of her healing process, and this is what she felt she needed to do to let it out because her life really is out there. And maybe she felt like she was being attacked or looked at because she walked away from this essentially perfect relationship. And we all know that social media is fake and it's not always perfect, right? It's not always rainbows and sunshine. But the way I look at it as a family law attorney is one day the kids are going to read this book. Do they really need to know these extensive details about what actually happened in their parents' relationship? I mean, for what? I understand that you needed to get it off your chest, but then did you write this with the intent of your child reading it? That's what I want to know because that's what's going to happen. And maybe she's not thinking that way right now because I think the kids are younger. But think about it. People are going to talk about it at school if it does become a big hit or a phenomenon or a trend at that time, right? And kids are mean.
I would think their kids are homeschooled. I can't imagine them going to school and, yeah, kids get bullied.
Yeah, they do. Well, I mean, I don't know because a lot of celebrities, they have their kids in school. They want them to have a normal life, a normal upbringing. But I mean, as a kid to a celebrity, maybe you don't get bullied. Maybe like you have like an exception to the bullying card.
I mean, and this
It's really cool.
because if their parent is reading the book or I mean, it's all over she went on Call Her Daddy. That was, oh my gosh, moment. I know I tuned in, but
Yes. And I think that it's interesting how people aren't seeing that aspect of it. And I would pretty much guarantee that if Austin were to be in court with that information as far as like the custody, I think that the judge would have something to say about the book. And I didn't read the book yet, but I'm sure that it gives actual details as to what happened and things that kids should not know. And it's the same thing with social media. You use it as a tool to go on there and people just want to talk. They just want to talk about what's happening. I think that I'm on the baby mama, baby daddy side of TikTok. I'd probably put myself on there by commenting on sometimes when there's drama, I'll be like, just here in case anybody needs a divorce lawyer. And I get a lot of likes and people laugh at it because I think it's funny. And I'm like,
wait, speaking of, did you ever see that video where this guy had two baby mamas, I guess, and he had a baby shower with one of them, and I think he literally had a baby shower the same day with the other one.
what? What do you mean? No, I've never seen
No one said it?
from 9 to 12 and then the other girls from 12.
Oh, no, I'll link it down below, but I'm pretty sure, and I was like, It's wild out there."
Oh, yeah. No, it really is.
I mean, Austin cheated on Catherine allegedly on her book. She says that when
Multiple times, yeah.
and it was like their kid for his haircut. And so, like, as her phone died, and she just quickly was like, oh my gosh, like, let me, he's about to get his first haircut. Let me take a picture. And she said, I never use his phone. I never, but what are the
Yeah, of course. You're like,
charged or something and it died. And so she grabbed his phone and when she went to take the picture, a big old text just comes in like, when are you going to tell your wife or whatever, right? So she's like, what are the odds that like
in that moment,
that text comes in?
well, because everything always comes out.
And then on top of that, they're filming. It's a vlog.
Everything is live.
That she just felt the cameras and she just had to lock in and like play the part.
What?
To imagine like everything that she was just feeling in that moment and she still had to be like,
Yes.
at her face.
Yeah, let me just apply for an Oscar at that point because I don't know if I would have been able to do that. I think that I would have been like, "Ooh, excuse me, this is his wife." wife you're talking to, what would you like to say to me? Yeah, thanks.
That would have been a good moment, a viral video for sure. She would
Course, yes, but, she was thinking about her family. Okay, what is the times that's what happens is people will come in to file for divorce, but they've been thinking about it already for years, and they've been going back and forth in their mind about the divorce. They just haven't been able to do it, and I think we were just talking about this, about how easy it is to cheat now because you have social media and you have instantly the ability to be able to meet somebody. We have Tinder, we have different apps, we have Grinder. For the people that want to swing that way, even though that they're on one side.
or that you might not even know they sing that way.
Exactly. I think we just had a case like that, which was very interesting. But when you have these apps that you're literally able to just sync up and feel that instant rush of being able to text someone or being able to meet someone online. And it really has had an impact on relationships and I would imagine divorces because of how easy it is to have that access to someone. Back in the day, you'd have to actually physically go out. Literally, they would have to let you go out to meet someone. I mean, maybe you could meet somebody at a coffee shop or your child's dance recital.
Or the whole I'm going on a business trip.
Exactly. But now it's like it's at your fingertips. And it's the same thing that I've seen with keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like everybody wants what everybody has. So you see these relationships where people are doing these extravagant things. Mind you, a lot of these people don't work. Their work is social media. So they don't have a regular 9 to 5. So yes, they have this time to plan all these things. And I think Catherine talked about that I think on the Call Her Daddy podcast, they asked her, like, do you think that it was him that was doing these grand gestures, or do you think that he was doing it for the camera, for the views? And it was a moment where she was like, I don't know. And that's what social media is, and people don't see that. So I've had people come in and they're like, I've just been feeling like our relationship isn't what it is before. We never go on dates, we never go on trips, we never do this. And it's like, okay, but it needs to be deeper than that. Like, what is really happening? Because are you just comparing yourself to the last influencer you saw that's over here in Paris having dinner and drinks? Like, we can't all just pick up and go. We have jobs.
I think it was also her, if I'm not mistaken, that said, it could just be the 10 minutes that they're in the restroom that they could cheat, and you would never know.
Yeah.
Or was it, there's another influencer, Wizard? Something Wizard. I didn't even know about her, but she came up on my TikTok algorithm because I guess she's an influencer who talks all about not settling for a man who does the bare minimum. Like literally her content is all of that. And I guess she's so pretty. Like everything about her. And so she has a boyfriend and he was just kind of like mid, they would say, right? So people are like, wait, why is she with him? But I guess he ends up cheating on her and she finds out, but it was just ironic because she's all her social media is about
Empowerment and
bad advice and
empowerment.
and then he ends up doing that to her. But then as soon as she found out, she literally cut it off. And you know how it is. They try and beg you back,
Of course, yeah.
change, and she was just like, nope. And so now she's using that, like, see, like it happens, cut it off. You don't need that. Something better is gonna come to your life. And it's like, but I think it's Lizard Wiz. I don't know. But
She'll also link that one below for your entertainment purposes.
I just swipe. I don't know these people.
I do the same.
Watch and I'm like, wow.
There's been a couple of times when I've been on social media and I will just tune into somebody venting about their baby mama or their baby daddy. And then they start talking about their case and then they start talking about a judge. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I know who you're talking about. I know what judge you have just by like what they
You have to go in the comments and it'll be like a blue link, like, oh, if they're talking about Judge Helen
or the area, right? Like they're like Pomona or Whittier or LA. I'm like, oh, I knew it. I knew you were talking about this judge. But I also tune in to be like, well, what are you saying? Because there's this one influencer that she literally posts everything online. And I don't think that dad has an attorney, or maybe if he does have an attorney, it's not a very good one, because she will literally post like, hey, I just left the courthouse and guess what happened with my deadbeat baby daddy and blah, 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 blah. And it's fine. Maybe he is a deadbeat, and I think that she's struggling with him struggling with alcohol, and they have all these other issues, and he's just not really being a dad for the kids. That's the story I'm getting. But the way that she's going about it, I think that it's all wrong because, again, at some point, your children are going to see these videos. And I think that maybe she talked about his significant other making a video about her, which I probably should look up now that now that we're invested in the drama. And so, when does it end, right? And how far are people gonna go just for the views and clicks? And I think that that's what people don't understand when you start sharing on social media is how far is it gonna go? Like, Catherine shared her entire life to the point where something drastic was happening to them in that moment that people normally, don't have to feel or don't have to go through, but it was happening to her and she couldn't show any emotion. That I mean, it's sad. And I know that it happens all the time, but then on the other side of it, you have people that are just willing to show all of their emotion and willing to spill everything about themselves.
And it could always be for the money, right?
Oh, of course, and that's what they say that social media is my livelihood. I need it. Okay, well, you're smart enough to be able to post something else other than your baby daddy. Or we have other on the other side of it where they're always posting how they're going out all the time. They're drinking and supposedly they're in court saying, "Well, I'm a hands-on parent. I'm always there. I want more time." Like, well, is this you, man, also at the bar every weekend? And is this you day drinking from 10 a.m. until, 1 a.m. on a Sunday when supposedly you wanted the kids for church?
Well, that reminds me of, Wendy Artie, because she's always out, and, she streams, so we see
24/7
but see, she has a good co-parenting relationship with her baby daddy too,
that we know of.
that we know of.
Yes. Because a lot of the times they may be embarrassed or they may hide it, right? We don't know the drama. We don't know what's really happening. We just know what they're telling us.
Or that's the narrative that her baby daddy wants to put on social media so that he doesn't look like a
Yeah, exactly. And maybe she plays along with
and he makes his money on his content by that too.
us and they're both fine. And maybe that's the way that they work. But a lot of the times it's not like that. People have these intense relationships behind the scenes and they go on there and they're just like, okay, here, let me just do my makeup tutorial, even though I just got done telling someone off about it at an exchange. The funny part about it is that now we have cameras everywhere, not even just on your phone. You have cameras recording you all the time.
There's rings.
Yes. So imagine if you're at an exchange and you're getting all crazy, and then you go to court and they have that video. And then right after that video, they have the video of you going on TikTok talking about the incident. It doesn't even describe that incident at all. It pretty much makes you look good when you were the one that started it, when you were the one that instigated it. That gets presented to the court. I feel like the court would say, lady, I don't even know if I can believe you, because if you would lie just for no reason, for likes, that's concerning. And their argument obviously could be that people like the drama. They need to inflate everything. They need to make sure that it's juicy and it's drama, but it's like, okay, but it's also your life and your relationship. And you were the crazy one. Like maybe if you weren't the crazy one, we'd be singing a different tune, but it's not true.
Yeah, well, they're not gonna admit they're not the crazy one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what happens all the time. But I think it's interesting when we find out that our clients were the crazy ones. I'm like, wait, I didn't know this.
Got bamboozled.
What happened? I thought you guys had a great co-parenting relationship. And it's funny because I was just talking about this with a new retainer that we got this week, and he was asking me like, how long will my case be? Like, I don't know. Until we can figure out like your custody situation. Yeah, but is it going to take like 3 months, like 2 months? Like, I don't know, sir. Maybe you guys agree on something next week. Maybe you call me next week and you tell me we both ended up in jail. I don't know. Now we're fighting 2 restraining orders. I have no idea how to predict. And it's funny because he's like, "Oh, no, no." And I'm like, "Okay, I've had people exactly sitting in your chair tell me the same thing." And then I get a text message with like, "Hey, I was arrested. Give me a call when you get a chance." What?
I thought, no.
I thought we were all good. What do you mean?" And a lot of the times, it really is that they know how to push your buttons or that things happen. So the court understands that things may still be heated in a relationship because you have kids and it's hard to let go of the past.
Especially when they start dating and now there's a new partner.
Or and then you obviously can see the text messaging changing because now the new partner is writing on this parenting.
And then all of a sudden it becomes about the new partner.
Oh, yes.
He can't be at exchanges, and why is he at the recital?
If you're going to bring up a partner in that sense, you need to make sure that you have the evidence to back it up. You can't just say like, "Well, they're mean to my child," because if you don't have the evidence to back it up, the court is going to deny your request. Now, maybe in a month from that point, you do have evidence that they were mean to your child. Now you're going to go to court and say, "Look, they were mean to my child." And the court's going to say, "Okay, ma'am, I already addressed it. I already told you no. Stop being crazy about that." But what happened is you missed your chance because you were so quick to be like, "Oh, no, I have to address this now," that you didn't realize that sometimes it's just a waiting game.
And again, because your emotions were heightened and you let that take over and they give us the whole spiel, we're trying to reason with them. No, no, okay.
Yeah.
You want us to file? You're not going to get it. So we're not going to file because we don't want to do that to you. We don't want to waste your time and money.
And I think it's really important to have attorneys that'll really have that conversation with you because I have clients that'll come in or we've had clients that come in and we're like, "Really? They filed an RFO on this?" Like, and an RFO is a request for order where you have a hearing. And I'm like, "Really? On this? This was it? Like, there's just no way that anything's gonna happen." Other times, somebody would want to change just something, right? Like, "Oh, holidays are a big issue and we need to change it." Okay, but now you're opening the door. You're opening the door to potentially having to change everything because is there things that they want to change that that is working that could potentially be brought up in court? And people don't realize that because they're not in court every day. They're not in court every day like us, and they don't see what actually happens inside the courtroom.
What do you say? This isn't Lincoln Lawyer?
No, I mean, some of that stuff is kind of true.
I wish I was saying.
I know, right?
What's his name? He's cute.
Well, and then he has his wife in the show, but then he works with his ex-wife and the ex-wife's husband or fiance or something. So it's like a crazy dynamic. And then he's going through issues with the daughter.
Oh,
Yeah, with their daughter. And then he also is like going through his own personal issues of I think having a drinking problem before. So that show really
real life? Oh, I was like, wait, what? No, yes, yes, yes.
yeah, like on the show. That's how rumors go.
I know. I was like, wait, what? He seems great.
Yeah, no, he really does.
I think he's gonna be in the new Top Gun. I want to say that I don't quote me on that, but I think and I was like, oh, Lincoln Lawyer.
So is the new Top Gun gonna be like a Top Gun 2, or is it gonna be like a remake of the Top Gun 1 like they just
I've never seen any of them.
Oh.
But you know who? He's not the same actor from Lucifer, is he?
No.
I confuse them.
Yeah, he looks the same actually now that you brought that up. Yes.
Like they're not related.
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so maybe that guy's the one on Top Gun. Don't quote. See, don't quote.
See, we just have a bunch of rumors over here.
They're both cute.
All of them. All of the above. I'll pick all of the above. So in wrapping all of this up, I don't even know what we talked about. We talked about like everything. I think social media is good.
And how it could be used against you in court.
Yes, I think social media is good and there's some good aspects to it, but you absolutely have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not careful, it could land you in court. Really considering your children and really considering the effects that social media have, I would err on the side of caution for you to all of a sudden become an influencer and a complete blogger when you're in the middle of a custody battle.
And even when you're not an influencer, if you're just, you want to post that you're out, like that could really hold off until after your case.
Yes.
Really have to post.
Yes, because they want the other side to see it.
But then, see,
Other reasons.
but some people think like, oh, I don't want them to see it, so I'll post it on close friends. But you don't know if someone on your close friends is not your close friend and will screenshot it and send it to baby mama or baby daddy. And then you didn't avoid what you wanted.
Exactly. And then how many times have we seen that somebody that has maybe 200 friends will post a video and now it's viral? Like, do you think that that lady that had the podcast, or not even the podcast, all of those videos that everybody spent hours watching, like, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Right? Like, she was not famous before that. She posted something and everybody was like, what? What is happening here? And then I think the guy posted back saying, like, she's lying, she's doing all this stuff. So, again, we don't know the truth, we just know what these people are telling us.
And that's what social media is. You just post, post, post. You'll get 100 views, 2 likes, and then all of a sudden you'll post one and it's your big one.
Yes. There was one time where, we left court and I would like to say that we won. I don't know if it was considered like a slam dunk, but I know that we won, and my client was able to keep the majority of the custody. I think dad had like 1 or 2 visits or something like that, and then he went online and posted how he, like, won and all this stuff, and it was just so funny to me because 'cause I'm like, "Wait a minute."
Went against Whittier's favorite lawyer. Like, it was about you, not even, like, winning the baby mom.
I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, "Okay, cool. If you think you won, then yes, sir, you actually."
One dinner visit a week is a win for you.
Then I would want you to spend that time with your child, then absolutely. So, I think that that's another thing to bring up, like, different people have a different perspective on what a win is and what they're doing, and I tell clients all the time, "You can sit there and say, 'She's a bad mom, she's a bad mom, she's a bad mom,' but are you a good co-parent? Are you a good parent? Instead of focusing your energy on them, you need to focus your energy on yourself and just be a good parent, a good co-parent, and let them continue to show the court. You don't have to worry about what they're doing or what they're not doing. I mean, unless it directly affects the child, like they're not doing homework, yes, go on the parenting app and say, "Hey, I noticed you didn't get the homework done again. Please let me know if there's something else going on. Should we get them a tutor?" Maybe add some suggestions on there, because the other thing that happens is people go on there like, "I can't believe you didn't do the homework again. Like, you're such a low life. I keep seeing your social media and all you do is go out." First of all, sir, stop stalking me. Second of all, sometimes I don't post in real time, which is also, it's like, "Hey, I just saw your post that you're in Thailand, but you're at the office."
I was like, nobody reads because, like, caption literally said, like, recap.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that normal people post in real. It's like, "You're not coming to work tomorrow? You're in Thailand? How did you get to Thailand? You didn't tell me. First of all, you didn't request no time off."
Who do you just come back from there?
And I think that would also get somebody in trouble, right? If they're posting all these things during the time that they had the child, yeah, now not considering the fact that it's not in real time. And now this person can take that evidence presented to the court. And the court, I mean, the court's not going to be like, "Let me see, was it posted in real time? Was it not?" They have a few minutes with you, a few minutes with your case. You don't want to make it so that you have to prove yourself every single time you're up there for the court, because it's not as black and white. People think like, "Oh, I'll just go in there and I'll tell the judge the truth." Okay, but how? How? You're just gonna say like, "Oh, no, that's not true." And then you think the judge is gonna be, "Oh, okay, sir, thanks for telling me. Like, here's your lollipop. Go on your merry way." You know, I think that you have to actually be able to back up your evidence.
Print your flight ticket.
Yes, show your evidence, but why? Why do that to yourself? And maybe it's not that big of a deal, but anytime you post, if you're involved in a custody dispute or a divorce, you really have to pay attention to what you're posting. Absolutely. Because say there's an order that the parent will not leave the child alone for more than 4 hours, and if they do, they'd have to talk to the other parent about it and allow that other parent to have visits with that child. It's called a first right of first refusal, or right of first refusal. So now you're posting about what you did last weekend, this weekend, but this is your weekend with the kids. Dad could easily just say, "Look, she violated the order by not providing me the information that she was clearly going to be gone for 4 hours." Now you're sitting there defending yourself like, "No, this was last weekend," but why? I mean, just post it on a Monday.
We had a case too where parents were ordered that they couldn't take the child out of the state. And then dad, remember, took them to like Arizona or Nevada. I think it was Arizona because it was really hot. And then the child came back super sunburnt because he never put sunscreen on her and she was just out in the sun.
And I think she even went to the emergency room of how
Yes.
bad it
And then the
was.
older child texted mom like, "Oh my gosh, we're in the emergency because she got like some like a
Essentially like a
severe burn."
yes, exactly.
And mom was like, "Wait, first of all,
You
what
weren't
are you
supposed to leave
doing
out of
in
the state, and you
Arizona?"
didn't tell me, and then
Yeah.
on top of it, it shows, like, where were you that you didn't realize that our child was frying like a tomato over here in the sun? Like, you weren't noticing? I mean, I know that sunburns happen, but to that extent,
It was really bad.
it was severe, and there should have been other things that were going on because I think the other kids were a little dehydrated. I mean, Arizona gets hot, right? And, I mean, you have Havasu, and people are always passing out over there, and things are always happening because it does get hot, and now imagine these kids.
And then they come back, dad drops them off, and now mom has to miss work because she has to take them again to the doctor to follow up because they're throwing up from the dehydration. And
Her dad was over here thinking like, "I'm just gonna have a little holiday with my kids and spend no one's gonna know. I'm not gonna post on social media or do anything," obviously, because he didn't, but he had a child that was like, "Hey, we're at the hospital with little Johnny because, he has a sunburn. He got burned."
oh my gosh. So be careful.
Yes. Be careful if you're posting, not posting, if you're gonna violate the court order because everything comes up.
And again, we've said it multiple times, your divorce or custody process is temporary.
Yes.
Yes, it could feel like it's such a long time, but once you get that judgment and the final orders are there, then you're free to, I mean, discuss with each other what the orders are, but then you can do all that.
Yes.
I mean,
Obviously, I don't know
moderately.
if you're gonna be able to still go on social media and disclose
It
happen because maybe you don't have a court order stopping you from doing that,
Oh, true.
but what I the effects that it has on your children, the fact that kids are going to see this. And before I would tell clients that, we have to really just be careful on what we're going to say on paperwork unless we really want to use this because at some point in time your children are going to get older and they're going to be able to look up your divorce case and they're going to be able to just grab all the paperwork from it and read it. And kids do that. I mean, they kind of want to know, especially if it was like, I don't know why dad left. I don't know why mom left. They were very secretive about it. And so they can go and read court docs.
Or it never fails that one family member is like, "Oh, I know all the tea, I'll tell you."
No, yeah.
What?
What? Oh, yeah, look you can just go online and look up all these court documents.
I went to court with them.
I was a witness. I was there. So then now you have social media added to it. This kid's gonna have a front row seat to their parents' divorce that happened when they were 4.
Like, I can't again, we talked about P. Diddy last episode, but I can't imagine his kids with this whole trial.
And seeing that video, I mean, obviously he's had to have shown some signs of being that way in the past. So maybe these people just know and it's nothing of the other world for them. But that video was alarming.
And then your kids are seeing this, and you don't want them to grow up to be those people.
Yes. Breaking generational trauma. Isn't that like the words that everyone lives by at this moment? I mean, we say it constantly. And I think it's so important because it's being stressed and we're trying to break the mold of how people were before. But if you're just going to allow things like that to happen and allow kids to be in that environment or see that behavior, how do you expect them to not be that way? Well, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us in all of the drama. I hope that we gave you some insightful information.
So be careful what you post.
Yes, and do not overshare on social media because the judge may tune into your TikToks.
Or watch your actions as well, because sometimes you don't even have to say much.
Yes, exactly.
Tune in next time.
Bye.